Hi there, my name is April Sawtelle and welcome to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is just showing you how to make this very easy. It's an Irish chain and it's a single Irish chain quilt block. It's going to measure about 12 inches when it's all done. It's going to make a quilt come together very fast. You can use a variety of colors. You can change it up. You can go scrappy. This is a great project if you have jelly roll strips laying around and you want to use those up. I mean, this really is quick. If you're looking for a fun, quick project, you might want to stick around. I'm just going to make my single Irish chain quilt block with 2 colors for demonstration. All you're going to need for today's project is you're going to need 4 4.5-inch squares of background fabric. You're going to need 1 square of focal fabric at 4.5-inch by 4.5-inch square. You're going to need 2 strips, 1 background and 1 focal of 2.5-inch by 20 inches. You're also going to need to iron this. So you're going to need your ironing mat and your iron. And you're going to need some sort of a ruler. I've got a 2.5-inch ruler here that I'll be using throughout this project. And you're going to need a rotary cutter. Okay, let's get started. All you're going to do now is take your 2 strips, your 2 20-inch by 2.5-inch strips. You've got your background fabric and you've got your focal fabric. You're going to put right sides together. You're just going to put your presser foot down and you're going to sew 1/4 inch all the way down. I'm following my painter's tape and I'm following the edge of my presser foot. I'm going to take this over to the iron and I'm just going to set this seam and I'm going to open this up. I'm just going to set this seam and I'm going to leave the dark side up. So when I open this, I'm going to push to the dark side. I'm also going to use a little bit of steam here. I'm going to line the line up with my seam and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut 8 sections. Okay, now that we've got this into 8 pieces, all we're going to do, we're going to start laying these out. 1 piece going with the pink on the top, 1 piece going with the pink on the bottom. And you're going to just line this up. This will nest really well together because how the seams are, the way that we're matching them, 1 seam will be going to the left and 1 seam will be going to the right. All you're going to do, make sure they're all nestled in. You can see that right there. So they're nice and tight. You can feel that with your finger. Okay, we're going to go over to the sewing machine and we're going to do this to all of these pieces. We're going to sew 1/4 inch down. I'll see you at the sewing machine. Okay, I've got these matched up now. I've got the pink face up and the pink face down that's on top. Seams are all nested. You can feel that with your finger. If you want, you can just put a pin right in there, or you can just hold it. I like to put my painter's tape there to give me a longer guide. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the pink side up, right sides together, pink side down, nest them together so those points match up good. See right in there. Those how they just nest right together. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to do this to all of these little pieces. It's going to give me 8 little segments when I'm done. 8 little 4 patches. Okay, pink side up. I'm just going to use my blade saver and I'm going to cut all of these little threads off. I'm going to set these seams, and then I'm going to open this, and I'm just going to push this open. Set the seam and just push this open. When you're sewing those together, when you're nesting those seams, you're just trying to get these little points to come together. It doesn't matter if they're off. It'll come with practice. So now you have your 4 little 4 patches. Now we'll assemble this. So you're going to take one of your 4 patches. You're going to line this up over here to your left with the point going out and up. You're going to take a background square and you're going to put it in the center. You're going to take another 4 patch and you're going to lay this up so your focal point is facing outward. Now we'll take a center, and then we're just going to put a white square beside that, and then we're going to put another white square on that side of that. We're going to go down to the 3rd row. We're going to take another 4 patch, and all we're going to do is make sure that the focal point is face down. All right? And then we'll do the same. We'll take another white for the center. All right, and then we're going to take another 4 patch, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make that focal point face down. We're going to do the same for the 3rd row. We're going to make the points come down, okay? But basically, when you're making these, if you always know that this center piece has to connect to the focal points, you should always get it right. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to go to the sewing machine, and all I'm going to do is sew right sides together. So this is going to go to this side. I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. I'm going to open it. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to add that right sides together. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how we do that. All right, this one was to the left. Our focal point was to the left. I'm going to put the white one on top of it. That's our background. And I'm going to sew this at 1/4 inch all the way down. And I like to just give a back stitch. I just like back stitches. They make everything a little bit stronger for me. And I'm going to give a little back stitch at the end of that. It's just something I realized that I like to do because I've had where the quilts, have come apart on me. So it makes it stronger. I'm going to finger press this one. I'm going to push these seams facing my 4 patch, okay? So both ends are going to go inward toward the color, and I'm going to leave the white open. That way you don't see the seam as much. Now I'm going to take this piece with my point. I'm going to take this piece with my points outward, and I'm going to sew this to the other side, doing the same exact thing. I'm going to give it a back stitch, and I'm going to sew the 1/4 inch all the way down with a little back stitch. And I'll break thread right there. Okay, row 1 is done. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set this seam with my finger. I'm just going to make sure that this seam is out here because I want it to go toward the patch, the 4 patch. Now I'm going to just take this to the iron real quick and I'm going to give this a press. I'm just going to press those seams, these 2 seams, I'm pressing them to the patchwork side. I'm going to flip this over. Now I'm just going to press this open. Okay, row 1, done. Now I'm going to go back to the sewing machine and I'm going to take row 2, looks like this. I'm going to press this pink one, that's my focal, to my background, 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to sew this white one to this side, 1/4 inch, and I'm going to open this. These 2 seams are going to come in. This is the middle piece. This is piece number 2. This is going to go, I'm going to push the seams to the dark color, okay? See at the sewing machine. One of the background fabrics, one of the focal fabrics, 1/4 inch. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to give it a back stitch. I just like to do back stitches. And a back stitch. Okay. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to push the seam to the dark side. Okay. Now I'm just attaching this other white piece, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. Same thing, back stitch. Okay, now you're going to open this side up, and you're just going to push that seam to the middle. Okay, you can see it under there. You want it over there. Push it down. And now I'm going to go over to the iron, and I'm going to press this. I'm going to press these seams here in the middle, right to the dark side. And then I'm going to just go over here, and I'm going to flatten this out. One more row. I'm going to take 1/4 patch. Remember, these need to touch, and these points will all be pointing out. So when you're looking at your 4 patch, you just remember these ones need to touch. So that will go like that, and one in the middle. So we're going to go over, and we're going to do the same exact thing. 1/4 inch seam, open it, attach this one, open it. I'll see you at the sewing machine. Okay, so we know that the points need to go into the middle and one at the bottom corner. On this one, you're going to want your seams again to go to the dark side. The darker side is over here, and this is the light side. And we're going to make sure our point here is going outward. Okay, this one, you just want to make sure your seams are going toward the dark side. Now we've got all 3 of these rows done. Now we're just going to attach them all together. Right sides together, 1/4 inch. Open it up. You'll have this one. It'll go onto that one. Right sides together, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch. I'll see you back at the sewing machine. So now we're just going to take our top row, turn it sideways, take our middle row, row 2, lay it right on top. Now, the way we ironed it, we're going to have again a seam going this way and a seam going that way, so we can nest these. This is where we really want this to come together, these points. So you're going to line that up, and you can just hold it right there. Hold it with your finger. If you want to put a pin in there, go right ahead. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it a back stitch. I like to give a quick back stitch just at the ends there. I'm going to come through, hold that down. Following my presser tape, the same thing, 1/4 inch. Whoop. I think I'm going to back up a little bit because I want this seam to lay flat, because I didn't, if I would have went over it, I probably would have left it, but I didn't go over it yet. So I'm just going to leave. I'm going to fix that. So I've got that seam laying flat. And I'll bring that right down to the end. And I'll give one little back stitch. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to finger press this, and I'm going to finger press it. So now this seam, I want it to go up to the points here. So I'm just going to open it this way, and I'll finger press it. Now I'm just going to attach this bottom row, just like so. Matching up these seams again. Back stitch. I'm going to hold that seam right there. Now I've already got this seam sewn. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to nest this bottom seam and sew. And back stitch. Okay, I'll see you back at the iron. Now I'm just going to set this seam here. Give it one more press. Open this up and push the seam out. And I'm going to do the same to the other seam. And now I'm just going to set this seam, open this up, and push the seams open. That's how you make a single Irish chain quilt block. It's super easy and super fun. You can make a quilt very quickly. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Remember to keep it simple. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye. Say bye, little Miss Reddy Thready.